Thank you so much. And wow, thank you, Rachel, Sophie, and the volunteers. This is an amazing monthly event. Thanks so much. Hey, everyone. My name's Ellie. I'm really glad you're here today. I know last night you had a decision to make, which was whether or not you'd come. So I'm really glad that you're here. I know what that's like. So today I'm going to talk with you about parallel lives, choosing to maybe take a break from ordinary life, and my interactive project, The Crisis, which was inspired by my crisis. My intentions are for y'all to get excited about your creativity. Literally, my dream would be you all go home today, go to your office today, and work on that thing that gets you excited, that is fun to work on, and that maybe will pay the bills, maybe won't, but that's my dream for all of you, maybe for me too. And then two, to think of your ordinary decisions as calls to adventure. Every decision that we make is an opportunity to go into a parallel life. And I think that's kind of fun. So we heard these things. One thing I'll add is I've lost many more awards than that. So, and then I wrote The Crisis, which I'll tell you all about, the plot, and my favorite part, the creative process, and like the writing process of it. I'll tell you about that in a little bit, but I wrote it while traveling around the world after a very big breakup. Before we dive in, I'd love for you to take just a flash and think about a time when you had a big decision to make. And then raise your hand when you've got it. Just thinking of a time you had a big decision to make. All right, great. Well, we'll put that away and we'll come back to that later. And I'll tell you a little bit about what happened that led to this interactive novel. And I'll mention it's who knows about Choose Your Own Adventure books? Who's read those? Yeah, like the Goosebumps ones and the other ones. Oh my gosh. So I grew up reading those. And I love them so much, especially the books that had that secret page that you could only get to by reading chronologically through the book, like not playing the game. Obsessed. So while this book is an interactive novel, it's interactive fiction, Choose Your Own Adventure is a registered trademark, and so we do not call it that. Just saying that. So I am the eldest daughter. I am an immigrant to this country, which means I have the syndrome, the eldest daughter syndrome. It means I'm perfect in every way. And I'm responsible for all of you right now. And I thought that worked for a while. I tried really, really hard. The first thing I ever wanted to be was an explorer. And then my parents and I came to this country as asylum seekers after the fall of communism. And then I went on just trying really, really hard. And I got to college, and then I got my MFA, and I got this MFA just to write this one book, this memoir about coming to the U.S., my immigrant experience, and all the difficult things perhaps that happened after that. And I went to therapy to write this book. Like I really, really just very serious. And I, had ideas about what I needed my life to look like. And then the pandemic happened. And then I started querying this memoir and got some cool responses, but nothing that led to, we want to publish your book. And I was in this relationship that wasn't going the pace and the direction or anything that I wanted. And I was in this job that I hated. And I was really stuck and frustrated. And then everything fell apart. Everything fell apart. Like the memoir didn't work. My relationship fell apart. My landlord decided he was going to sell his house, so I had to leave. This job, I teach meditation. I used to teach it live, and the job was like, well, we're going to just record the classes now. And so everything started like folding itself away in my life. And then I remembered the first thing I ever wanted to be was an explorer. And you know what? I had been trying so hard. I know you needed to know. I'm sorry that it's terrible looking, but my brain kind of like it was like something snapped. And I was like, you know what? I tried so hard. Why don't I just do whatever I want to do? And let me just have fun. And if I'm going to write a book, it better be fun for me. And I better have fun along the way. And so I put all my things in storage, and I left all of those things I mentioned. And I decided I'm just going to write this book. It'll be a little Eat, Pray, Love for millennials, perhaps, or something, and interactive, because I thought that would be, just enjoyable, and also mirror the experience of life, which is you make a decision and then you become the kind of person who makes that decision. So I became the kind of person who said, I don't know a lot. So people would ask me, when are you coming back? Are you coming back? And I was like, I don't know. I was living in North Oakland at the time. And they'd say, where are you going? And beyond like the next place, I didn't know. And it was very scary and very fun. So here's what ended up happening. I decided to give myself a writing retreat, a writing residency. I was like, why do I need to be accepted to just spend time working on a book? So I went to Sicily, and I found this Airbnb, which I'll tell you about later because it's very magical. And I decided to work on this book. Now, I got there the first day, and I had this idea, general idea, which is, and not all of this, coffee is not an more empowered decision than tea, but later on it becomes relevant. I had this general idea for a book, and I got to this Airbnb in Sicily, and it happens to be an international hub for creatives. I just needed an Airbnb that was $15 a night, but it was amazing. And I'll, again, tell you more about it later. But the host happened to be a designer and an architect. So I told him about my project, and he said, well, have you tried Miro, which is a design tool? And it's not really a software website. It's part of Adobe's offerings now, apparently. And he told me about Miro and suggested that I use it. So this is in Miro. It's a bunch of Post-it notes. If you're really curious, I can send you the link to the full board. And this is where I started. And so the plot is you, the protagonist, are 30 years old. It's your 30th birthday, and you hate everything about your life, and your boyfriend is a jerk. And not that my real one was, but yours is. And and you hang out with your aunt, who's super stylish and lives in Pack Heights, and she sees that you're struggling and decides to give you $20,000, and then you have to go, if you choose, around the world. No one gave me money in real life. And so this was just the start. And then pretty quickly it turned into this. The thing about branching structures in fiction or anything is every time you make a choice, you're branching, and so it becomes like a hydra really fast. And so it got very complicated. And then I'll go back to that one. And then this was the final version, at least for now. The black Post-it notes, I know you can't really read them, but the black Post-its are the endings. I calculated it once, and to get a traditional happy ending, the happily ever after, which is up there, you have a 0.2% chance. But there are a lot of other really cool, fun endings that might be authentic to you. That doesn't have to be the traditional one. And overall, the arc of the book for me was going from overthinking and strategizing and planning and managing and controlling to just trusting and feeling and just in the moment knowing, this feels good to me or this doesn't. This person gives me a good vibe or they don't. And that's it. And just kind of making those micro choices along the way. Here's a little fun close-up of random decisions. Part of the the work in this kind of fiction is that you need small decisions too. Otherwise, it's just taxing on the reader. So sometimes the small decisions are just, what are you drinking? And then for me, the fun was also deciding, small decisions, do they lead to huge changes or not? And yes, so a lot of these are just crazy. And some of it's a little bit fantasy. There's a little time travel. Maybe you see your own doppelganger who's in another timeline. I, again, had a lot of fun. Maybe you follow Ollie into the jungle. Maybe you don't. And maybe you're not the kind of person who would make a certain decision in real life, but in the book, you can try. You can just see how it works. And this right now lives as so it's written. It's like written text, and just like a choose your own adventure book, you follow this guy into the jungle, go to page 68. It's not printed, and I would love to make that happen. So if you know anyone who's a publisher or into doing that, let's talk. And then I really wanted to highlight this place again and also give us plenty of time for questions and talking. This is on the west side of Sicily. It was $15 a night. It's built on the edge of a rock quarry. This is a quarry all around the building. Absolutely insane. So if you want a creative space away from things, go here and give yourself permission to do that. And also, I will say too, and I know a lot of us can relate to this, like the creative process is also a lot of internal work, at least for me, a lot of like giving yourself permission or working through, limiting beliefs or whatever it is in order to create and put yourself out there. So acknowledging that. These are just some fun photos. So what ended up happening is I traveled for almost 2 years. I went to 14 countries. And I'll just tell you about some of these and hope it's entertaining. This is in Lima, where Tani's from. This is people just paraglide just from this cliff there. And Petra, where, by the way, I don't know, is anyone familiar with Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Oh my gosh, I loved that show growing up, so I felt just like Carmen in there. I ended up living in Mexico for 6 months. That's in Azulik, in Tulum. I climbed that volcano in Guatemala, Fuego. I would never, ever do that again, but you can if you want to. That's in the Himalayas or the Himalayas. It's at about 15,000 feet at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then the headphones, I stayed in a Zen monastery, and that was me literally chopping wood in a Zen monastery. And I stayed there for 6 weeks and found my favorite job, it turns out, is running the dishwasher, the sterilizer in an industrial kitchen. I really liked doing that a lot. I didn't know. Really enjoyed it. And then went to, visited Machu Picchu and, hope this is just an encouragement that you can just go. And then you end up meeting the right people in the right place at the right time. And then I came back here, and it was all very strange. I had a job interview in San Francisco, and the timing and the day happened to be when I was here to look at my storage unit. I mean, we worked on that together. But I got this job, and then I bought furniture again, and then I reconnected with that ex, and now we're getting married. So crazy. I did not plan that, I'll tell you that much. So... but very grateful. I want you to think again of that decision that you had to make. How did your choice bring you here? Whether you regret that decision or not, how did it bring you here today? And just think about that. And then you can come up after and tell me all about it if you want. And then what's your next adventure? So part of the work of this book, The Crisis, was taking the pressure out of decisions. I found over these travels and over the experience of writing this book, that an adventurous life is full of choices. And much as I would love it, we can't quite live all of our parallel lifetimes all at once, but we can dip into them at any time. Today, you can make a different decision and your life goes in a different direction. You give yourself those, first 20 minutes of the day to work on your creativity, and you become the kind of person who devotes yourself to what matters to you. So if you have a difficult decision coming up, I hope you can pretend for a moment or take a moment and think of it as the start of an adventure or a portal into a new life, a new version of you, hopefully one that you love. I'd love to connect with you. So if anyone's going to AWP next week, I will be there. It's in LA. It's a writing conference. You can email me there at elliebozmarova@gmail.com. I included my Instagram because there is a highlight about the crisis, and it's literally like me and Sicily day one. I'm writing this book now. So if you're into process and like the writing process, please feel free to check that out. And then would love to stay connected via my newsletter, The Dream. It is a Substack. I try to write a couple times a week. And The Dream, the name of it comes from the Diamond Sutra, one of the oldest teachings of the Buddha. And it goes something like, "So shall you view this fleeting life? A bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning, a child's laugh, a phantasm, and a dream." Thank you so much. I'm excited for your questions.